Good evening and welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton and Adam here as we always are every Tuesday. Adam, I just wondered because I was talking right over the last second of our video intro, and I'm thinking, I wonder when he turns our microphones
Right?
on. Happy
Which is why we
Valentine's Day
never say anything inappropriate.
to all our Valentines. Welcome. Thank you guys for spending it here with us and ladies on a Tuesday. Thanks to the two that have put up with us for over 25 years. We appreciate you. We have a busy show though, Adam. We got straight from Florida. We've got Jason White. We got Dexter Stacey. We got Alex Labbe. And Stephen Elms is going to come on and talk about their new deal at Land of Legends with Dirt Vision and kind of a cool
Yeah.
hybrid deal, I think.
So
So,
for those who sometimes say our show was a little bit dirt heavy, stuff it this week. We got
yeah,
lots of blacktop.
we pushed it all to the back. Dirt to the back today. So, anyways, we try and get on whoever you guys want us to talk about. If you got somebody in mind, we'd love to hear it. As always, we'll have our Burger Barn video of the week. Let's just jump this out of the way. United Racing Series has a new website, unitedracingseries.com. Looks really strange on the rundown. You could probably even take it off there, Spencer. But unitedracingseries.com has a new website out, and this is cool, consolidating it all for all the news you might want, from the quick super stocks, the APC late models, the Oscar modifieds, and hot rods. Great spot for everything you need, from schedule to partners to everything you need to know. A great spot. So make sure you check that out.
They always do a good job. With the web, everything looks polished and ready to go. So I appreciate the effort that Luke and his team put into that, Clinton, because the website and the media has always been a real presentable.
Yeah, I think we look at what they're doing and think, wow, they really do it up. Great job. They've always put themselves in a great light, and it certainly makes it easy for us as the broadcast partners to do our best to put our foot forward and carry them down that path as well. Looks like our first guest is just about ready to join us, and all the way from Sun Peaks, British Columbia, but I don't think he's in BC today. I think he's more warm, where it's more Florida. Let's bring in Jason White and talk to him as soon as he's ready to jump on the program with us. Jason, welcome
There
back
he
to the
is.
show.
Hey guys, how's it going, man?
Wait, you
Good.
can hear us and we can hear you,
This is crazy.
right?
That's first
Strange
time
things
ever.
happening. Look at you outside
Right
in
on.
the dark in short sleeves. Now you're just showing off, Jason.
Yeah, it's not too bad here today. It hasn't been nice, but today was pretty nice.
So, Jason, we see the nice backdrop behind you. I'm assuming that's Daytona. What can you tell us about what's going on behind you?
Actually just missed the hauler parade. The cup haulers just came in about 15 minutes ago. So they're rolling in, just down in the infield. Got the motorhome parked here with all the rest of the ARCA drivers and Craftsman Truck Series drivers and owners, and just chomping at the bit now, just eating healthy and drinking lots of water.
Do you normally stay on site, Jason?
I actually have for the last 5 years. I mean, it's crazy down here, Adam, right now. Like, you can't get a hotel room for less than $600, and they're all sold out and stuff like that. So, I got a guy that I've been just renting his motorhome for about 5 years now. He drops it off and picks it up, and it's about a tenth of the price of a hotel room. So I'd much rather be on site. And once tomorrow afternoon hits, I put about 20,000 steps on, because you couldn't put the freaking truck garage further away from the ARCA garage here. It's literally a kilometer each direction, and I got to go back and forth between the two about 50 times in the next 3 days. So I'd rather be
You
right
know what?
smack dab in the middle here in the motorhome.
For sure. Clint, I'm going to cut in because to me, this is interesting because a lot of fans, Jason, they don't relate to what Speed Weeks is if you're there, right? Racing goes on in Florida, but in my memory, most of the Canadians go down there. You get a hotel room, and they're most usually along the beach, so you're about 6 miles from the speedway. But if you camp right on the grounds, and Jason is a long time second generation racer, I mean, how many events have you gone to in your life? It is just so much different when you live at the venue during the race. Does it feel different to you to actually wake up and be at the speedway?
It does. There's a sense of comfort to it, and everybody around you, staying on this whole row is, like I said, they're either the drivers or the owners or their sponsors or something like that. So, I've already ran into Canadians and people I know. Amber's just right 3 doors down from me here and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people. It's you know how it is in racing. You're going to run into people you know everywhere you go in racing. So being in this atmosphere, it makes it feel like kind of what I grew up in, you know, for the last 48 years of my life of being around racing and it being very personable and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely comfortable being down in the infield for sure. And there's not a motorhome spot to be had here. There's not a ticket to be had for Sunday. Every hotel room is booked in Daytona. This is going off.
That's amazing to see it rebirth and be kicking back like that, back on the upswing. Jason, let's talk about you personally. We saw you a lot in the Pinty series in the past few years. Now you've kind of just put it all into this week, it seems. This and a couple other shows a year. What's it like for you to kind of put everything you got into this weekend? You've got everything going on, ARCA and trucks, from going from 0 to 200 pretty quick.
A lot of simulator time. That's for sure. I spend a lot of time on the sim with the super speedways. I do Daytona, Talladega, and we're working on a deal to do Atlanta. Atlanta's now a restrictor plate track, wide open all the way around. So something just tells me in my racer's brain that I got to get and try that out, and just got to figure it out. So,
Jason, talk about a game plan, because I know you have gone racing there and you've hung back to stay out of trouble, and it's paid off in decent results. And I also know that you've gotten involved in late race mishaps. Tell us about the ARCA car and the truck. What team orders do you have? What's going to be the game plan? What are the chances of being in both races? Are you guaranteed? What's the story?
well, the story is I should have started a reality show about 3 months ago because it's just been an absolute whirlwind. I'm sure you heard the Rayon Brothers shop burnt down 3 weeks ago. And the truck that we just got back from GMS, brand new greenhouse in it, brand new bodywork done on it. It was on the pull down rig in the shop that burned. It didn't burn. It was at the other end of the shop, but the insurance company will not release a nut or a bolt out of that shop yet. So that truck's called Clawhammer, and that's the truck I've been racing. I was at 7th place at the line at the White Flag last year, and that we just keep getting better and better with that truck. And we didn't get to bring it, so we had to go. The NASCAR world has been so great to us. They've, we've had phone calls from GMS Legacy, AM Motorsports. It's just tons of people reaching out to see what we need. For instance, we lost 42 radios in the fire. 42 digital radios, and you can't buy a digital radio in the industry right now to find for your life. So, there's been things like that where people have come to help us. So we ended up leasing a truck from G2G Racing, and we'll be in that truck under the Rayon Brothers umbrella with the 34 car or 34 number on the truck. So that scenario is going to be get into the race and hold back as much as we can, and same thing, be there at the end and hope to be in a position there at the end again. So we'll basically have that scenario going on in the truck series. Now in the ARCA car, I'm super excited about this ARCA car. I've been racing for Andy Hillenberg for the last 5 years down here, and Andy is a big development guy, and he developed me through, and we've had a 6th place with him and qualified 4th that same year. So I got all the respect in the world for Andy, but he's also got another team that runs out of his shop, and they're a technical alliance, and that's Jeff McClure. Jeff McClure has been around racing for a long, long time, and he's been a driver and a crew chief, and he's been a crew chief of some pretty stout racers, and I'm pretty excited to say that I'll be driving the 44 car for him. And it's a hot rod, and he don't want to hold back. He said, we're going for it. We're going for the pole, and we're going to win the race. And he said, we're going to take the analogy, we're going to stay up front and stay out of the wrecks instead of staying at the back and staying out of the wrecks. Because as you've seen before, you can get in the wrecks in the back just as easy. There's no method to the madness, really. There's no right or wrong. It's just throw your dice and hope that they fall where you want them.
So we're hearing hammer down the whole way, both races, Jay?
No, not in the trucks. Trucks, we got to qualify in on Friday. We got good points position, so we got a really good chance to get in. If we don't get in on speed, we got a really good chance to get in on provisional. So we're most likely in the race, but we're going to be starting. We know if we get into the race, we're going to be starting at the back. So we're going to take the analogy of let's hold back in the truck race, but in the car race, I don't know if you guys know or not, but in ARCA, they qualify here at Daytona and Talladega 5 cars at a time. So you kind of got to get in with the right group, and hopefully everybody listens and everybody stays nose to tail. You can go into turn 2. Michael Self did it in 2019 with us all. He went up into turn 2. He pretty much stopped and he lined us all up bumper to bumper, and we went like the Pied Piper, and we all got first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So if we can get into a good group for qualifying and we can get that car up into the top, even the top 8 or so, yeah, we're going to be going guns blazing, and we're not going to hold back. We got to go try and win that race for sure.
And you've made it to the checkered flag of some of these restrictor plate. There's some you have not, but there's some you have. On average, Jason, how many pucker up moments will you have in one of these races?
You know what the biggest one is, and especially with these ARCA cars, there's what they call feels like a beach ball. It's really hard to get to the bumper and actually give the bumper a shot. You push up and you get the air, and what happens is you can gain like 10 car lengths in a blink of an eye, and you've got to be really careful. You're running the guy over in front of you or the girl over in front of you. So those are the moments where you're going down the back straightaway, and all of a sudden you might get a push from behind, and all of a sudden you realize how close you are to that car in front of you. And that's one of those moments where you're like, whoa, that's going to cause a big wreck, and you're just going to look like a meathead. So you definitely don't want to do that. But there's also, what happened to me last year at the White Flag. I was in 7th, and Matt DiBenedetto was behind me, and I was in the middle. I didn't really want to go to the middle, but it looked like Ty Majeski was blowing up on the bottom. So it turned out it was only a tire rub, but I thought he was blowing up on the bottom. So I went to the middle with the Young Motorsports team, and Matt DiBenedetto was behind me. And as soon as he moved to the inside, it took the air off my spoiler. I was packed on the left and I was packed on the right. And the truck that was on the right, 3 wide on the outside of me, he was packed off his air on the wall on the right, and he was packed off of me. And it just, as soon as he moved, the back of the truck lost its grip, and I just washed up into the 44 truck. So those moments are the ones where you can't do anything about it. The air packs off and you're done. So that's the moments where it's like, shit, you got no control,
Jason, we know you're a big race fan too, and one of your posts this week was the entry list, and some great names on there: Travis Pastrana, Carson Hocevar, Zane Smith, Chase Elliott. You're on there.
Yeah.
You said it was pretty cool to be on that list. So maybe take us through your statement.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of racing in general, and Adam's known this since we started, back in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. And man, I've taken a lot of flack over the years about, NASCAR being the big bad wolf and the bullies and all this stuff. But you know what? One thing NASCAR does for us is they keep us safe, and they try and make the right decisions all the time. So I support this sport, to the ninth inning, and I'm always there for it. I just want everybody to know that I'm also a fan, and if I can get up and race with Chase Elliott and I can beat Chase Elliott, well, you know what I'm telling my grandkids? He's in this sport for another 20 years, and he's got potential of being the best of all time. And then going back home, if I can whoop up on Travis Pastrana, I'm going to go home, and I don't have to wait 20 years. That's going to be something I can say, hey man, Travis Pastrana wasn't in a rally car. He was in a NASCAR. I whooped up on him. So yeah, it's not something I'm thinking about. It's kind of a joke, but there's really awesome race car drivers in there. And I feel like being in the races with these guys is awesome.
Now, does being on the same track at the same time with Travis Pastrana, does that make you cool to your son?
Oh, for sure. I think that makes me steezy.
There you go. Jason's son, Clinton, is involved in all sorts of different speed sports, but his happens on skis and snow and snowboards. What is his specialty, Jason?
He's a Canada Cup freestyle skier. And at 14 years old, he's kind of tearing it up a bit. He's got a little bit of a growth spurt stuff going on right now, but he's only 14 years old competing against 18, 19, 20-year-olds. So he's doing pretty good as well. And I thought it was going to save me some money not having him in car racing, but now his skiing's actually going to get right up there. So we just got to take it as it comes.
Absolutely.
Jay, I got one final question for you. Sorry, Adam. My last question for you, Jay, is, are we going to see you back in the Pinty Series anytime soon?
You know what? I love the Pinty Series. It's kind of where, I got 105 starts in the Canadian Tire Series and Pinty Series. So I was actually with my son at a competition at Horseshoe Mountain not too long ago up in Barrie. and I took a trip down to Oakville, and I went and seen the famous Larry Jackson. So Larry and I got talking, and we might have something brewing. We're going to work on it and see what happens, and see if it works out for everybody's schedules. And Larry and I are very similar. If somebody comes along with some money and can and wants to spend some money and buy the ride, obviously it's open. But Larry and I might work together to try and do a couple races together and see what we can do. So we'll see how that develops. I'm just going to take this one step at a time and get through this weekend and maybe Atlanta in the truck series, and then from there I'll start making some plans. I got a lot of business stuff going on too, so I gotta be thinking about that stuff. And but definitely it's in the cards to get back into the Pinty series. I love the Toronto Windy. I love Chaudier. I love Trois Rivières. Like, who doesn't love Trois Rivières? I might not even drive. I'll just come and hang out.
You might enjoy that. You might get addicted to hospitality suites if you spend some time there, especially in Trois Rivières.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, maybe Joel will let me stick a microphone in people's faces or something like that.
Hey. Stick with the steering wheel. There's only so many microphones. You hold on to the steering wheel, we'll hold on to the microphones.
Right on.
Listen, man, for all that you do for Canadian motorsports, you're an amazing ambassador, and we appreciate it. So all of the people that you've shown the sport to are all going to be cheering for you this weekend. We wish you the best of luck. Have an awesome time, and we'll follow up with you soon. I'm so glad technology worked for us this time around, because it was frustrating there last year. So this was fantastic.
Yeah, no, and that goes both ways. I really want to take the opportunity to thank everybody that's helped me get here as well. The list is so long. It's, DJ Kennington and Lynch and Robbie McConnell and, the Ellis's, and it just goes on. And I've just had so many people help me throughout this last, 15 years. And this is, whenever I get to buckle in down here, I always say this is for them. This is for Trevor Boys. This is for Roy Smith. This is for people, just recently, we lost Trevor Boys. Like, that's somebody who I looked up to growing up. And like I said, it goes both ways. I appreciate the words you said for me. And I hope I can help influence people one day in racing, or any day in racing. But the people that have influenced me, that's why I'm racing, and that's who I'm racing for. So, and especially my family, that's for sure. They've supported me through this the whole way. And it's Valentine's Day, and I'm in Daytona, and Melissa's back home. So love you, babe.
Right on. Thanks, Jason. Good luck this weekend.
Right on, guys. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers.
Watch for Jason White, both the ARCA race and the truck race coming up this weekend. Exciting times for the Sun Peaks British Columbia racer.
If a positive attitude, Clinton, like if love for a sport, a lifestyle, whatever, could translate into competitiveness, Jason White would be the winningest race car driver in NASCAR Canada history. You know what I mean? It almost rejuvenates your love for the sport when you talk to someone like that. And Jason's had to work very, very hard to pay to go and race and do the things that he's wanted to do. But you almost never see a frown on his face. Like, there's been once or twice the last few years when he was competitive and things didn't work out. But you know what I mean? His positivity towards the sport is just awe-inspiring.
I think one of the first races I ever worked for TSN and Joel was he got tore up and was one of the first guys I had to walk up to, was all upset. Rightly so. His car was destroyed. I believe it was the NW cars, which looks so good. Let's talk about, we talk about people passing all the time on this show, Adam. Let's talk about something happier. One of our newest members of our family got a new member to their family. Abby and Allison Solomon, our drone pilot extraordinaire, who a lot of you met. There's Abby with the new baby, Ivy. So congratulations to Abby and Allison. Gorgeous. Can't wait to meet the little bundle of joy. And welcome to the world, Ivy, the newest member of the Quasi G-Force team, I guess.
I think Ivy will be, because I can picture Abby having Ivy in one of those like chest carriers, those backpacks on the front, while he's flying the drone. Like I've had visions of it already.
I just see Allison be like, Abby, can you get the baby the bottle? And he's like, yeah, flying it over there right now.
Exactly.
But too much fun. Yes, let's mention a couple other things. Andy Jankowiak, who's been on this show, and Steve Lewis Jr. got mentioned to me about 6 o'clock today. Not enough time for us to get in touch with him. They're going to be in the ARCA race as well, two Western New York drivers who are kind of close. Andy J, we know from, Holland, Lancaster, Ranceville days in the Bad Banana. And, of course, Steve Lewis Jr. came up through the modified sports and ranks at Ranceville as well. So good to see that going on.
What number did Steve Lewis Jr. run? 24? Is it
11.
a red car? 11. Okay, so I'm thinking of someone different. Oh, but
Could
now
have
that
been.
you say 11, I can picture that.
Fran, 11? Yay, nay? I'm pretty sure it was. Derek asks, Clint and Adam, do you think 410s will be a thing in Canada in the future? Well, if you listen to guys like David Gravel, they're out there saying right now that the 360s don't have a place in the racing world. In the Northeast, where we are, 360s are still the thing, the top division. If you talk to the engine builders, Adam, I think a 410 is going to be cheaper than a 360 these days. Similar like a big block, you can get cheaper than a spec 358 in some instances.
Yeah.
So I think for the time being, to answer Derek's question, I don't think we're going to be seeing that in the next 10 years. Beyond that,
I'll,
sure.
I'll, I'll tell you my opinion on that same question is we're going to get to a point, Derek, where it doesn't matter. We're not going to talk 410, 360. You're going to talk about a sprint car race. You're going to talk about a modified race. Because the sport is going to fewer divisions and not more divisions. So do you know what I mean, Clint? Like, I don't think you're going to
I
see a lot
do.
of.
I do. And I think we have split a modified into too many modifieds. We've split a super stock into too many super stocks. I fully agree. The problem is, how do you put that cow back in the barn and get the 410s to play nices with the 360s? I mean, the topless guys are trying to do it, where you just have it open whatever you want. Run what you brung class.
Well, I think the person to talk to about that is probably Brett Dale or Stuart Friesen or Matt Shepard, someone who has taken a lot of Brett Dale's money, right? Because the short track super series was as close to a run what you brung class as there
Yeah.
was. They've tweaked a little bit. I don't know if they've got it right, but you don't see a whole lot of complaining. Uh, Nothing is perfect, but when you put
Well,
the focus on the stars and the competition and the events and take focus away from what they are, they're modified. Short Track Super Series is a modified series. There's a combination of engines being run in that series that is wider than dirt motorsports. It's wider than almost anything, but they don't talk about it because it doesn't matter.
you're not wrong. I think eventually, if we could just get to, I mean, you look at what, I don't want to throw stones, but kind of like what Maryville's been doing, right? They're on their own island now. They have 3 different engine packages. It's getting close to, you know, more closer to being just a modified class, not a 358 modified motor or whatever you want to call it. Good discussion. We go on for days about that.
Mm-hmm.
Couple other questions came down. Fran asked, do we have any news about the Humberstone schedule? It was finalized today. I was actually speaking to Terry Vince. It's been put in the can. He said he was going to pretty it up and reveal it on next week's show. I can tell you it is going to start June 18th on the Sunday, which I believe is Father's Day, and carry about 10 races through, with a couple of extra special events coming on the deal. So we'll have all the news for you there next week. Along those lines, Doug Erskine asked, hey, Clint, is there a rules meeting for Oshweekend, Sunday, February 26th? Yes, there is at GSR for micro sprints and the 4 classes that we race weekly at Oshweekend. So that'll be February 26th. That's a Sunday at the GSR shop on 4th Line. And all the info is on the Oshweekend website. Adam, we're waiting for Alex Labbe to join us if he can get free from his Valentine's dinner, which is important. We understand.
I think Dexter will be here first.
And so Dexter Stacey's coming on as well. Yes.
And
Let's
Alex
talk
Labbe,
about.
of course, out with his Valentine, and
Yeah.
they're expecting their first child in mid-May. Which, if you're a Canadian race car driver, mid-May is when things really get crazy. So,
Yeah,
uh,
but he's been racing states. It's
Alex,
already crazy.
and they've been a
Let's
couple
talk about it.
forever.
So Brett Dale has a situation there last week. His car, David Schilling, that he sponsors and owns, as the understanding, has a situation where he beats Matt Shepard, and the internet lights up at him that a promoter should not have a car in his own race. And I'm just gonna say this. The other discussion I want to have next week, and I'm gonna actually make a note about it, is should you be allowed to race multiple classes in a night? Because that's a big dividing point between dirt and asphalt. I've had 2 arguments with Brett Stratford and Mike Bowman about it this week. Bowman says one way, Stratford says another. I think everybody has an opinion on it. It'd be a great discussion, but we'll save that for next week. Promoters racing their own cars or having other people race their cars in the races they own at their own tracks or promote, yay or nay?
Yeah, go for it. Because so if I am that promoter or if I run that track, I want such a credible tech procedure. I don't want the scales to be hidden. I want them to be out in the open with a big number that lights up, so I never want people to question. We've seen favoritism. We've seen it over the years in different places, and it is blatantly obvious when it happens, and it's appalling. And whenever I saw it, it was from an entity that was larger than life. You don't like it, go somewhere else. Well, there was not somewhere else that was worth a shit. It doesn't happen anymore because there's lots of options. People can go wherever they want. And I think if you run the proper show and you've got credible tech, credible procedures, a good race director who's not going to cave to pressure. Having said that, Glenn Steyer should have been disqualified from time trials at the very first Canadian Sprint Car Nationals because he missed the tech bar. There was a little bit of inside shit going there. I don't care who you are. You don't follow the rules, you go to the back.
That's before I was manager.
Mm-hmm.
We were just announcers then. But I've been thinking a lot about this. Even in our region, from the dirt side alone, we're not rich enough to make that happen. We need these guys, racers who care enough about the sport, and the list goes down the line. Look at guys who have saved racing in our region. Pete Bicknell saves Merrittville. Pete Costco saves Humberstone. Glenn Stiers builds Oshweekend. Brighton, the Rinaldis have kept that alive, and their generations of racers have done over the years. I mean, Friesens with Ransomville and all of their kids that come up through there. I mean, the list goes on and on just from the dirt side, you know. So, yeah, in a perfect world, we can say you guys go somewhere else. But I agree, you got to have it on the up and up, and even take it further. Take it away from the promoters. Look at how many flagmen kid race, or the tech guy's daughter races, or the manager's brother races. We're all too in
And
depth
people didn't,
to get rid of all
yeah,
that.
people didn't used to know that. But now there's so much information, so many people are connected, the fans wouldn't necessarily know that the flagman's kid just won, or how everybody knows everything. There are instances that still go on, Clint, that there are people who promote series or promote events, who participate in events, projecting, portraying that things are a level playing field when they are absolutely not.
No,
I
and you know
put the
it
pressure
comes.
on the racers and the fans to call that out and know when something is bullshit. Us as media people, you have to give credibility where credibility is due, and you won't hear us talk about this series very much. And if I get my way, you won't hear us talk about it at all, really, because it's not legit.
You know, I mean, we've seen it. How many years have I managed my brother? I mean, one year we had to take the heads off. This is one of my favorite stories to tell about my brother. He was racing his last sportsman race. He ran third or something to Mallory, and a couple guys were complaining, so we made him pull his heads because it cubed too much, and with the cuber. And I remember Mike lived in our basement and paid rent to me, and I said to him, you know, Mike, we're either tearing your heads off or you got to be DQ'd. And he looked at me and said, well, do you need your rent money? And I said, yeah. He said, you better take my heads off because I need that $300. So we had to pull his motor down. And what did we do? Then we got on the microphone, said the heads are off the 01. Anybody, sportsman competitors and crew, want to come up to the garage and measure it yourself. So we let them all, a couple of them actually took us up on it. And we're laughing at how much of a joke the motor actually was. But for whatever reason, sometimes you have to do that. And I think I learned that from Bobby and Barry Davidson, because Barry was the flagger when I first got back into this, and he was way harder on Bobby And Bobby used to bitch him, said, I didn't even come near him. And he said, it didn't matter. The appearance was you went near him, and I had to stick it to you because of it. So there wasn't any favoritism going on. And sometimes it's the family or the other guys who get it worse off, but you do need to keep your integrity up, right? Let's look at the Burger
No,
Barn
that's
video of
just
the
it.
week while we wait for our next guest to jump on here. I believe we've got two of them. One was Lucas Smith. Do we got them both, Spencer? Lucas Smith had his engine on the dyno, and he just said, great to hear this sweet sound and smell back in his life. Let's roll it. The engine just died. So for those of you who don't know what this is a dynamometer where we test out the engines, and let's listen to this thing sing. Love it.
Way back in 1998, I had just met Angie. I think it was 98. Yeah. I lived down in Mooresville, North Carolina for like 6 or 8 weeks. And there was a dyno shop for the truck series just down the road in Clint. When they revved these engines up at that dyno, it made the whole town of Mooresville shake. The sound was unbelievable.
We're talking about put one in Oshweek, I'm wondering what that's going to do to the town over there. Tina's worried about us racing more nights. And I just got a text. My dad says Steyer's missed a scale this year, and Doug sent him tail. Good job, Doug.
Yeah, and that's how things change, right? Doug Leonard is not going to be skewed by anybody. Not me as an announcer, given my opinion, and even you, Clinton, to an extent. You run the show before the show happens. But once that show starts, like you have a say in things, but Doug Leonard kind of, it's his operation, right? Am I explaining that right? Like you still have a say,
Nope.
You still get asked a lot of things, but the responsibility shifts to a Doug Leonard controlled program, and he's not going to listen to outside interference.
No, I mean, I still have a voice with Doug, and there's a couple times a season where we get on the phone and not talk about something on the radio. But I'll tell you, 3 times this year, I called him on the radio and said, phone me on my phone. And I was totally wrong. And by the end of the season, I just shut up and stood in the infield and called the races. I'm like, I was, in hindsight, wrong all 3 times at the spur of the moment. And that's the beauty of the video. I can watch it back. I'm like, wow, shit, you were right, Doug. And I was wrong. So I just really tried to stay out of his hair and there to help out if he has any questions or needs me to support them in any way. But no, man, we have a great team, and it's shows by all the people coming over to race with us and all the sponsors that continue to grow with us at Oshweek. Continuing just to follow up on that, that's Lucas Smith, our crate champion, who is making the jump to 360s, along with a whole bunch of other racers moving up this year. Tyler Palace has got a 360 now. Darren Dryden has got one.
Yeah.
Man, the list goes on and on of drivers that are making that jump back up. So we're going to be strong in all classes. Mac Demand coming back. It's funny, Mike Bone was asking me today about Mac Demand, and I think to see them two square off is going to be great this summer back in the crate. So I'm excited about the year ahead. We do have one more Burger Barn video of the week, Adam. This is a motorcycle video. And this is an endurance race, and just watch it. Oh, you don't have that one? Oh, sorry, Spencer. What do you got? Oh, okay. Yeah, roll the Dexter video then. This is Dexter's showing off their new ride for the week, and Dexter's going to be joining us here. Look at this Hendrix power plant under the hood. Pretty wild setup there, Adam.
I mean, when you got mentioned with Hendrick on it, that's, you've got something special. Dexter just texted me to say he was going to jump on. That was about 5 minutes ago. So we don't see him just yet, but I expect.
Put him through, Spencer.
Yeah, that's Dexter. Yeah, I see the beard. I thought it was a thumbprint on the bottom of my screen. I'm not kidding. Dexter Stacey, you look like a thumbprint, my friend, but that's okay. We'll talk to you in the dark.
I'm driving to Florida, so it's a little hard for me to lights.
I was driving.
We understand. Hey, listen, congratulations. I mean, we haven't said it on the air to you, so congratulations on this ride. Talk about 2 things. 1, how excited you are for this opportunity, and 2, how is this different from the other times that you've gone Xfinity racing?
Oh, well, one, it was over 10 years ago that we raced in Daytona already. So it's going to actually really excited to be back to come back and take over Daytona. How it came about, literally Carl Long called me last minute, said his sponsor backed out. You want to take over? And I said, sure. So that's where I've been from there talking to him. And now here we are going to race Daytona on Saturday.
So give us the timeline, Dexter, from the time he calls you. How long does it take you to line up the sponsor and be ready to confirm that you're ready to take this deal over?
Well, actually, the sponsor, turns out we own the company, so that wasn't an easy one to put on a car. And then now it's just been my medicals. I've been trying to hurry up and get as many medicals as I can do to get approved for NASCAR. Like I just actually got to North Carolina about maybe 5 hours ago to go do an impact test. So that was a little bit of a rush to do. The other ones were had to drive across to almost basically Syracuse, New York to do another medical test that we don't have in Canada. So it was a little bit of a project to do, but we got it all done.
That's all the thrill of going racing. Dexter, can you put into words how much more prepared you are mentally and from a maturity standpoint to go and give this Daytona a run than you were 10 years ago?
Yeah, like I was, I wouldn't say young back then, but I was young enough to, I don't know, just go out there and drive and didn't care about saving my equipment and protecting it and stuff like that. Now since I'm back at it, you can tell I'm more patient and more experience, and now I think I'm gonna do a lot better during this race.
Dexter, we've seen a similarly prepared modified. What's the story with that car? Where's that going to see the track?
That's going to be in Volusia tomorrow night, actually. Tomorrow, Thursday, and I don't know about Friday. We'll see what time practice ends for Xfinity, but we decided to throw a big block together and go race there.
We got some pictures of that. We'll show off here for you, too.
That was another last day.
Is it hard? Is it hard, Dexter, to focus on doing anything really well when you have this much going on? Or are you confident enough in how you do things that you can handle it all?
I've been doing it like that since I was basically 16, jumping into 3 different cars or whatever, 2 different cars, that I'm so used to it now that I'm not worried about it. We're pretty confident. I mean, we built that brand new big block in less than 3 weeks to go to Volusia, so I know everything's good on it. We'll be good to go.
Dexter, you don't get to do much practice at Daytona. Obviously, have you spent any time in the simulator getting ready for this, or is this just going to be a jump in and roll as well?
It's going to be a jump in and roll. I can't really handle the simulators too much. It's not realistic enough for me, and I get I don't know. I guess I get bored doing it. It's not something real.
No, and that, you know what? It's interesting that you say that, because a simulator is not for everyone. It's a phenomenal tool. I love them, but some people get a sensation of motion sickness in a simulator that you would never get in the real thing. So, do you think that puts you behind the 8 ball at all, or will you be just fine?
Nah, I think we'll be okay. I mean, everybody knows how Daytona is, basically flat-footed and hang on to it. But I mean, since they changed the bodies on it, I actually never drove, so I think they're going to be a little more loose than what I'm used to. So I don't know. It's going to be a different. And to your question about the simulator, I actually get motion sickness from it. But it's ever since I had concussions from when I ran Xfinity, I'm not able to do it anymore.
Dexter, have you probably not had much time to talk about it, but is this a ride around all day and try and get it at the end, or is this a go for it all day and try and push it to the front?
We're gonna start off the hop and see if we can drive to the front and know what we have, and then we're just gonna ride around and beat her at the end. Wait for the big one to happen, and then come out on top at the end.
I love the confidence that you carry, Dexter. Do you have any friends out there? Like, is there any people that you collaborate with, or that Carl collaborates with, or is it kind of you're going to have to find out on the fly?
Well, I messaged. I mean, you seen the tweet I wrote about Alex Labbe, so but he didn't answer back. So I'm gonna go see him when I get there, and then if Timmy Hill qualifies, also on top of it, I have him as a teammate also.
Awesome. Dexter, let's talk quickly about your Pinty series plans. Have you made any yet for 2023?
Yes, we're gonna be full time back with EHR for next year. Me and my dad.
What?
Awesome.
I heard the two of you were done. That's phenomenal. I had so much fun watching you guys. I wanted to see your dad get a chance to go back to these places for a second time. Because really,
Nope, he's
once the
coming back.
race, excellent. No, that's great to hear, man. And I do think you're a great addition to the series. Uh, One, you're a fantastic interview because you keep things real. You're pretty steady, whether there's a microphone in front of you or not. And two, I just like the way you drive. I mean, if someone doesn't know what they should watch at a race, watch Dexter Stacey because he's going to be exciting no matter what he does. Because you drive the damn thing 110% all the time, and I appreciate it, Dexter. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you for the compliments. It's awesome.
I got one last one for you from some of your native friends here in Oshweekon. Some of the boys are asking, ask Dexter if we're going to see the Warrior flag back on the race car.
Actually, I just put a request in today to print up a new sticker to put it on. So if it's not going to be the Warrior flag, it's probably going to be the Confederacy flag on the next to my name, like usual.
Fantastic.
Those of you watching for it. We appreciate your time,
Well,
Dexter. Make sure you travel safe.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. Travel safe, race safe, have all sorts of fun, man. And Clint, do you know what I'm saying about Dexter? He has matured to the point where he brings a I don't give a damn energy, but it's not the kind that makes you offended. It's the kind that makes it, man, I'd like to be around that guy. He just keeps things loose.
I think there were a couple races last year where his finishes surprised a few people. And I think this year they're not going to be surprised when he has those same types of runs because he's shown he can get it done. So great to hear that him and his dad will both be back on the Pinty's tour for 2023 and, go out there rocking for the guys at Kanawaki.
This is why I don't believe anything until May. I recently heard that Dexter and his dad were done. So
well, we had a
that's great
NASCAR
news.
Pinty scoop that Cam didn't. So maybe he already did. I'm just playing around.
No, for sure, for sure.
Steve Ovens is going to join us any moment to talk about Canandaigua and Land of Legends. Not sure if Alex Labbe is still having dessert with his Valentine's dinner. May or may not make it in.
If he doesn't make it, I can't blame him because she is far more appealing than you or I.
Spencer, do you have the old pictures of Adam and I? It was from about 3 weeks back. Show these. Adam, here's a couple blasts from the past. Doug Elkin sent me. Look at that. What year would you say that was?
I want to say 2006, maybe.
I think you're right on
Was
the mark.
If it was 2004, do you remember? I don't know what I had to go up to the tower for, but I had Connor in a basket in a car seat. And you volunteered to sit with him while I went up to the tower. And he didn't stop screaming and crying the whole time I was gone. I just remember coming back, like, take this kid back. You won't shut up.
No, the days. Oh, there's another one from back in the day, same year. Doug kept them coming through. We had a good deal with Leaf, and wow, no gray hair. Look at us back then, man.
Right?
So long ago. So long
I look
ago.
like the guy that ate that guy.
No, you look like the same guy.
Oh man, my eyes are tired now. But you know what? We've had so much fun. Like when we look back, the early years when we were there, we're still a couple of nobodies, but we were absolutely a couple of nobodies with Brett Hearn and Billy Decker and all these people at the Gator News tent at that time on the Midway at the New York State Fairgrounds. And man, oh man,
we were certainly ballsy. Like we didn't care. We were just like, yeah, we're here to do it.
I think.
And remember we had Bobby Hartsleaf on after Boundless bought dirt. And we got like the first scathing interview, and we were just putting the gears to him. It was,
and he gave it right back.
Yeah, it was pretty good times. let's talk a bit about New Smyrna, Adam. We've had some of our friends down there. I know my boss, Glenn's been racing there all week. We've had Nicholas Noggle from the East Coast been down there having some solid runs. We've had a whole bunch of guys down there. I see Norman Newman's down there with his crew in the modifieds. Oh, man, I know I'm leaving a bunch of them out, but, good to see a bunch of the Ontario guys and Canadians down there participating at New Smyrna this week.
They've had some long nights. Weather has not been on their side every night. It looks like 30 super late models took time in qualifying today for a big $10,000 to win race. And that's great to see. Great to see big money getting put up because for a lot of years, New Smyrna, they didn't pay very much. People that wanted to get away in the winter would go down there and race. But there were times when it was a little bit watered down. But they've got good fields of cars in the right classes down there.
Yeah, I think racing just kind of goes in that ebb and flow, like ups and downs of waves, and we seem to be back on it now. Everything seems to be rolling. I mean, trying to keep my dad here in tune with everything that's going on. I mean, there's been 3 great shows on every night, whether you're looking at, if you got Flow and Dirt Vision, you don't know where to look, so much great stuff going on. Volusia will kick off again with modifieds here, practice, and then the racing tomorrow. And just as soon as I say modified, it's just like saying Beetlejuice.
That's
Stephen
right.
Ovens appears in my view screen as soon as I said modified. And whenever he's
Yeah,
ready,
that.
we'll take him.
That was
Steven.
slick timing.
Welcome to the show, bud. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, buddy.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Awesome. Yeah, we're good, man. We're it's been a couple of days, I'll tell you that.
What the heck
here's
happened, Stephen?
Well, it's we had announced yesterday that Land of Legends TV is joining forces with Dirt Vision, and it's pretty exciting. It was something that I didn't really see coming. It makes sense. There's a lot of reasons why it makes sense to do this, with our ties to Dirt Car and the sanctioning there and things like that. But it's really exciting. And the exciting part for me right now is explaining to I feel like a lot of the drivers, are understanding of how big a deal it is and the fans, but trying to explain to those that are maybe casual fans or even, some of our diehard fans that, haven't been a part of the streaming conversation that's been going on here, the last few years. It's exciting to kind of explain, how big a deal it is for everybody.
So, Steven, just to back up things up a bit. So, Land of Legends 2-3 years ago started doing a free stream similar to everything we have on GeForce and all the stuff we cover. As a way to expand the sport. Paul and you have been on this program many times to talk about the success of it. And then recently this week, you joined up with the streaming service, which is a paid service typically on most avenues, Dirt Vision, as we know. So for our asphalt fans, or, very similar to Flow, but it's Dirt's proprietary streaming service. So you guys joined up with that. So now fans are just going to have to log into a Dirt Vision account, I'm assuming, to still be able to get the free stream. Is that correct?
So no. So actually the way that it's set up is in terms of Land of Legends TV and our free platform, nothing's going to change there. Essentially, what we're going to be doing is simulcasting on Dirt Vision. So Land of Legends TV will stay the same. Anybody that has an account there that's watched the live stream there will continue to do so. It'll continue to be free. But what we'll be doing is simulcasting to Dirt Vision. So anybody on Dirt Vision's platform will now be able to watch Land of Legends TV, and for the folks in the Northeast, in New York, Pennsylvania, Canada, it might not change how they view our product necessarily. If they're already signed up on Land of Legends TV, it probably won't change how they watch that. But I think the big thing is what this will do is put us out to a bigger audience of those Dirt Vision subscribers, not just in our area, not just in our neck of the woods. I mean, all over the country, all over the world. I mean, how many sprint car fans from Australia that might be popping around trying to find something to to tune into, or for some of the other tracks that are on Dirt Vision's platform, if they get a rain out or something, or they're just trying to find something to watch that's on the Dirt Vision platform, we're excited that we're going to be one of those options that they could check us out and see what we have going on. And I know from Dirt's perspective, just having a weekly big block track to expose the big blocks even more than what fans see on the Super Dirt Car Series. It's just that's why this was a win-win for everybody, at least from our vantage point. And certainly we're excited about the fact that, again, that doesn't change anything. We're sticking with that free platform that, that we talked to you guys extensively about, and that we've proven works. And it continues. Every year we have seen growth, year over year. It's really been kind of fun. I'm a numbers geek, and to see those, continual increases, it's really been fun to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, I love that you put it in that terms. And to your point, Stephen, Clint, how many times do you, well, I shouldn't say this, I'll tell you how often I do. In the summertime, if I don't have anything going on, I'll go on to Flow Racing. I won't know what races are on, but I can just go on. Hey, yeah, I'll watch this race from Terre Haute. Or I don't know the Terre Haute schedule, but I know that something will be on Flow Racing. So similar to Dirt Vision, you go on Dirt Vision, you might not have intended to find Land of Legends, but it's definitely going to put a lot more eyeballs on that. Wouldn't you say, Clint?
Yeah, Steven, I got one for you before we move on. We just want to get you on here quickly to talk about that. We got Alex Bay coming up, Alex Labbe, but I wanted to talk about you. You grew up being a big fan of modified racing, a huge fan yourself. How cool is it that you are going to be on Dirt Vision every week? I know that means a lot to you as a personal thing.
Yeah, I don't want that to be the focus necessarily, but if I was to tell you that, inside I'm not like wanting to jump out of my body, which admittedly is pretty large, but yeah, it's super exciting. And, having been a guest on your guys' show as many times as I have, and talking about my brother and my father as I have, one thing that's been so important to me since they've passed is trying to figure out how I can continue to honor them and continue to keep their memory alive. And when I say that, I don't mean bringing them up all the time, but continuing to do this kind of work that my brother and I did together, and Dad was so supportive of. Like, this is such an awesome opportunity to continue to do good work in their honor, if that makes any sense at all.
Absolutely.
Right.
Stephen, we're happy for you. We're proud of you. And always good to touch base, my friend. And good luck this year on Dirt Vision. Doing what you do so well anyhow, but you're going to be doing it on a pretty cool platform. So thanks for stopping by with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the time, guys. And anytime you want to talk big blocks, you know who to call.
Right on, Steve. Thank you, buddy. One of the guys we've worked quite a bit with over the past few years, Adam, a lot through the pandemic, and him and his brother Brad, great early pieces of what we had going on here at G-Force TV. So all the best to Steven as he carries on the legacy that his dad and brother and him created. Our next guest,
And he's one of those that I enjoy listening to. Like when he gets his game voice on, I really enjoy it.
Let's bring on another guest who has a game face on now. Always a big smile of this guy. Like, if there was ever anything, first word to describe Alex Labbe, smiling all the time. Alex, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Now, first off, are we in trouble for cutting your Valentine's Day dinner short?
No, it's all good. It wasn't a big date. I just brought Valerie to the ice cream place. Just a little attention there after dinner. Wasn't nothing fancy tonight.
See, Adam, what scared me is that little uncomfortable laugh at the start, because that's what us married guys do when we're in trouble too, right? But Alex, let's talk about your week ahead. A big week, getting back to the big track. how do you feel about Daytona? Is it a place you like, place you can't wait to get to, or a place you just try and survive to get to the next one?
A little bit of both. I mean, I feel like I've had my fair share of success there. I think I got 2 or 3 top tens at Daytona. I feel like it's a track where we can do really good and do really bad. It's like last year we went there and didn't even make the show at the first race of the year. We scrapped something together last minute and just didn't quite have the speed to qualify in the top 33. But like I feel like we always race good, even if we qualify 25th. Whenever we get in the draft, we can make something happen. But it's always nerve wracking. You go to Daytona, you never know what to expect. I mean, you get in the pack, you can cross a white flag being 6th or 7th and end up with a DNF 25th with a completely wrecked car. So you never know what's going to happen. The intensity is something else there. There's definitely nothing that can compare to Daytona. Even Talladega's pretty intense, but Daytona is just something else. It's a little narrower, and there's just so much stuff happening, especially in the closing laps.
There's no doubt about it, Alex. I fear a little bit that people don't notice how much work, because your name is just always on the list. It seems you turn on an Xfinity race, yep, Labbe is in this one as well. How hard is it to keep yourself in that seat? Because I know there's not a lot of guarantees for you, but you often wind up racing. What does it do to your psyche to sometimes know when you're going to race, and sometimes it's not a last-minute decision, but sometimes you're a late addition?
For sure, it's not ideal. I'd really want to be able to plan ahead and to build on something. And I feel like it's, especially lately, we're always a little bit last minute. And I owe a lot to DGM Racing. I know we're not a big team. We can't compete for wins every week. We go out there and try to be on top 20 speed and finish somewhere in top 15, top 10 whenever we have a really great day. But we're there. I've got almost 140 starts to my resume now, and it's just a big grind. I mean, I feel everybody at DGM Racing is working really hard. I'm working hard on my side. On the partnership side, it's hard. I mean, you need money to perform. You need money to evolve. I mean, if you don't have money, you're just gonna get eaten up by your competitors, by the other teams. Everybody's just, it's so competitive. I mean, you need to get better every single week. You need to, and in order to get better, to have the knowledge, you need to spend some money and have some alliances and stuff like that. So it's a big business. It's a big grind, but it's been really fun. Even if it doesn't look like it, even if for me, like sometimes it doesn't feel as fun. Like I feel like it's more like a job, but at the end of the day, it's always been a dream to do what I'm doing right now, and I'm just trying to enjoy as much as possible.
We have a question from one of the viewers. Alex Alvarez asks, "What's it going to take for you to get to a top tier team?" Now, you pretty much just said money. Is it some extra sales help, or what's the deal there?
Yeah, I feel like it's at this point it's pretty much it. I feel like I've proven myself, especially like I feel like on a road course, short tracks, even super speedways. And pretty much I can be pretty consistent. Like the teams pretty much know what I can do, but like I said, at the end of the day, you need the money. You need money to perform. You need money to go to the racetrack and pay the bills. Those big teams, they got huge overheads, so they gotta figure a way to pay those bills at the end of the week.
Alex, two-part question. One, is there still a path for you to get to the Cup Series? And two, if that doesn't happen, what will make you satisfied with your racing career?
I mean, the ultimate goal is definitely to go to the Cup Series, but I feel like right now I really want to be I want to be competitive. I want to win a race. That's definitely my goal for where I'm at short term, just to win a race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We had a top 5 in 2020. Feel like it was a big accomplishment for our team, but I just want to figure a way. Even I mean, I'd really like to do it with DGM, but even if it's with another team, I want to win some races in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
What track's your best shot to get that done in your mind, Alex?
Definitely the road course. I feel like my best tracks are probably Coda and the Roval. Places like Indy is pretty good, but I really feel like if I go to a place like Bristol or Martinsville or Richmond, like short tracks that we can in a good car, good situation, I can pull it off too. But I feel like those 5 or 6 tracks are definitely the best places where I could pull an upset. I feel like.
The method that Ryan Preece used, or at least the one they promote, where he mortgaged his home to rent Joe Gibbs' car, is that when I look at, I know that you can do it. There's no doubt in my mind that you are a winning race car driver. Does it make sense to look at that sort of thing and circle a few races and try to get yourself into the 20 car or the 18 car and go chase that win and try to get noticed?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's I'd lie if I'd said I never thought about it. I've been working on doing similar stuff for the last couple of years. I feel like it's definitely the way to go, but it's really tough to get the right opportunity, the right like the teams are mostly like, especially the big teams are all pretty much all booked for the entire season. They got full time drivers, but you got a couple seasons where one of the big teams or two of the big teams are doing part time stuff, and that's when you gotta make it happen. But at the same time, it's like you got to hit on the good tracks and all that stuff, and it needs a lot of timing, and you need also need a sponsor that's a little bit more flexible, that wants to do that kind of stuff instead of stretching their budget on the longer period. So no, it's definitely something that I'm still looking into it. I don't want to be able to just to see what I could do in winning capable equipment.
Same question we asked Dexter Stacey and Jason White today. Is it a go all day type of race for you, or is it a ride back and hang until your opportunity comes?
It just depends. I mean, I feel like I've done all pretty much both ways, and probably my best luck was when I just took every run I had and just went for it and just trying to surround myself with guys that I trust. I mean, I feel like a lot of times when I just laid in the back and just trying to take it easy, I just get involved in wreck at the end and in the back of the pack and get run over from cars from behind, so stuff like that. So I feel like there's no safe place. You gotta go with the flow. It's pretty stupid. It's just how it is. You just gotta look at cars around you, and whenever everything looks straight and looks safe, you try to stay in that as tight as you can in that pack and try to surround yourself with guys you trust. And I feel like that's how I've had the best luck in the past.
Well, we're going to have fun watching you, Alex. I appreciate you taking the time to come on. I know it's a busy week, but it's been fun for us to get to talk to you. We talked to Dexter. We talked to Jason White. So 3 Canadian talents that we're going to be able to watch on TV. And I know that all 3 of you can't win, but we're going to pull for one of you. Any of you, get out there and perform and have some fun.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Alex. Well, another busy show, Adam. Another Tuesday down and gone. And some great guests. I think it's super cool that we can reach for the top and bring you the guys who are making the show happen in Daytona this weekend. And it's great that they give us the time on, as you mentioned, a busy week and Valentine's Day.
Alex Labbe can get the job done. I mean, I can't stress enough. He has the skill set. When I think of where Ross Chastain was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, he was battling with Alex Labbe, and Alex Labbe was finishing more races than Ross Chastain was.
Yep. I think if the right opportunity comes along, there's so many other questions I had for him. I want to ask if he thought being bilingual was an advantage or a disadvantage down south. In Canada, it seems to be a huge advantage. Does it hurt him with the large companies down there? I don't know. So many great things to talk about.
Yeah, sorry about that. I kind of cut that off and I
No,
didn't
it's
ask
good.
permission,
It's good.
but we
No,
can
we're all
get him
good.
back on. And I think he alluded to it. He gets more tired from the business aspect of racing than racing. like the stress of having to put these deals together and try to get himself on the track, and I can believe it. But that was interesting. I thought we had some great conversations tonight, and we'll see how these guys do.
Another good show. I'm excited. We got more racing to watch, whether you're watching Dirt Vision or Flow tonight and the rest of the week. All kinds of great stuff to check out. We'll be here on G-Force getting ready, geared up for our season. Schedule should be out for us. But as you know, we'll be at every Osh weekend, every APC event, and a bunch more. So stick with us here, and of course, every Tuesday. Thanks, Adam, for all you do. Thank you, Spencer. We'll see everybody next Tuesday.
See you next time.